Hey guys, today we have a special guest and it's the Miss Beautiful Kid, of course. And today's video is about Makayla's casting. So she's had two different types of casting and I'll get into that. And then also we're going to be talking about Makayla's AFOs. So that is ankle orthosis, something like that.
Orthosis.
So anyways, if you look up AFO, you can tell how it's spelled correctly and everything, but we're here to talk about that today. So that is all based on her ankles and feet, and I just wanted to cover, so there's two different types of casting that Makayla has had, and one is from her broken leg, her broken femur, which is this here. She had two different casts for it. We threw out the other one because it was ugly, but so that's this one. I wanted to mention that in this video because this isn't the same type of casting when you're talking about the casting that we're doing. So the casting that we're doing right now, or did, was called serial casting. So serial casting is basically when you cast the foot, or I guess it can be done with arms. I'm not sure because we didn't do that process with her, but because of Makayla's foot being the way it is, her foot's always pointed down at an angle. So with her, we wanted to try and reach a range of 90 degrees because when you walk, you put weight on your foot at a 90-degree angle, and then you actually go past 90 and then back from 90 as well. So with the casting, it allows you to put pressure on her foot or whoever's foot constantly. So this allows the muscles and tendons to relax or stretch, and that is what creates the better angle. So as you can see here, we had a little bit of a angle. It wasn't like it was, you know, completely flat or anything. So this was our first cast. Then we moved to this cast, and I'll try and show you. So you can see here at the bottom where the purple is, you gain about that much range. So now her foot looks like this. So that is so close to 90, but not quite. So every week we would change her foot position and put more and more pressure on it, creating that angle. And then when you're almost 90, you can see here it would almost be 90 from this one right there. So this was her last cast, and the last cast she wore for, I believe, 3 weeks, because the longer you wear them, obviously the looser the muscles will become, and it won't be as much of a strain on her muscles. So we chose to do serial casting because Makayla's feet are very, very sensitive, and when we would work with them, she would just completely freak out. Whereas with a cast, you do it once a week, or, you know, once every couple weeks, and it's not like there's any, you know, work being done on her foot. The cast does the work for you. So I like that about the serial casting. We were concerned about serial casting before she had gotten her cast for her leg. We, you know, were concerned about bathing and just how she would tolerate it. But once we had gotten her femur cast, we understood that casting really isn't that bad, and if this one got wet, we could simply just go back to the children's center. They would recast it and go from there. So this wasn't being casted because of a broken bone where you have to be careful with the bones and that. This is just mainly for muscles and stuff. So as soon as we got that cast off, we realized that this kept her foot, I'll show you here. So this kept her foot at a good angle when she was casted, and it actually helped her foot. So as soon as we noticed that and took this one off, we were able to understand that the casting was going to help her a lot. So that's what we chose to do. It took, I want to say, about 5 weeks total, and that's just because we left the last one on for an extra week or so, because we just couldn't get in to see the ortho technician. After the casting of these, I'll show you. She has, whoops, she now has a brace for her foot, which is called an AFO. And all it does is basically keep her foot at that angle and maintains that range. So this is an AFO. This is basically a foot brace. It is made out of like that plastic type brace material. It's a hard plastic, so it doesn't move at all. We were able to choose the pattern. We just chose a, you know, cute heart pink and purple pattern, and basically what this does is maintain her range. So instead of her foot being at an angle, this will help keep it at the 90 degrees, and as you can see, this is the full 90. So when you start off with an AFO, your foot might not quite be a 90 degree. You may not be able to get to that 90, but the AFO will help with that. So you have this strap here. This one is basically just to keep your leg from moving in and out of it. But this strap, your foot slides in. You can see the padding just to make it softer. But all you do is wrap this around. This piece helps keep the ankle and the heel in. And then you wrap it around the bottom and you can pull that tight. So that way, as you, well, we just put a stopper, but this, the more you pull, the more force there is on her foot. So that can create the 90. So when she first got this, she didn't have this stopper in here, this little white piece. So she had a little bit more range going the other way, out this way. So we added this stopper because her foot has actually gotten better. So when you pull this tight, you put it through here. So when you pull this tight, it tightens against her foot. And we can keep adding stoppers here. As you can see, like when I pull it tight, it ends up having a space. We can add that stopper so that she can't force against this, because as you can see, I can push down with my fingertips and I can make the gap go away like this. That is her AFO. This is actually the one that we got first with that foot when she had her cast, her broken femur cast. This is the foot that got an AFO first because she was ready for it. So now that we've worked on the other foot, because as you can see, this is this foot and this is this foot. So this foot we have the AFO for. This one is currently bare. We don't have an AFO yet. We saw the ortho tech last week and we should be getting it next week. So it takes time to make the AFOs and that. Some places will make it right on the spot. However, because we're in an area where, you know, we don't have a lot of resources, it takes longer. How the braces are made, or at least how hers are made because of where we are, what happens is they will cast her foot at the position that she is at right now, but they will only cast it with one layer. So this cast here, it's rock solid. It's probably got like 4 or 5 layers of casting. You can even see here with this one, you can see the thickness of the cast. So there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 layers just at the ankle. So it lessens up here obviously because, you know, you can move it a little bit, but at the ankle they want it really sturdy. So the more layers, the harder it will become to manipulate. The cast that they do for the AFO, all they do is one layer or 2 layers to create a mold for this. Because obviously, you know, they can't take Makayla with them. So what they do is create a mold that fits this, and then they can create the AFO off of that cast. So that only takes a few minutes, as long as it takes for the casting material to dry, which usually only takes about 5-10 minutes, especially if you have only a few layers to dry. So then he cuts it off just like we did with these ones. This one was definitely a lot harder because of the thickness of it. But this one you can see we cut straight down the middle one, and then we pry it apart. So he does that. The ortho tech, he will just cut it. It folds off basically. He'll do some markings on it while she's got it on, and then he will take it back to his office and create the AFO. So pretty much with the AFO, it's really simple to put on. So I'll just show you how an AFO goes on. And I just wanted to mention too, because this AFO goes quite up her leg, they recommend that you don't wear it obviously with no socks, because it becomes sticky and sweaty and isn't good to rub skin on plastic. So we had to find these extra long knee-high socks for her, which we actually found at Dollarama. They were like $1.25 per pair, which is pretty good, because you can buy ortho socks. However, of course, because they're medical, they would be a lot more. So I managed to find these. I'm pretty sure you can find them anywhere. That's just where I looked first. So we got some of these socks, bought a bunch of them, and now we get to use them for her AFOs. So here we have Makayla's foot, of course. So she's already got a pair of socks on, as you can see. They are a little big for her because they are, I think, women's sizing 4 to 6 or something, or something like that. But what we do is, of course, you have to unstrap it. And with this one, I just kind of fold it and attach it to the Velcro that's there. So what you want to do is make sure that her leg and hip are bent as much as you can. Then bend her foot. Slide the leg part up her leg, and then push her ankle in. So then I always do this part first because it's the most important. And then I tighten this as much as possible, and then I go ahead and do this part. So as you can see, there's just a little bit of padding here, which makes it a little bit nicer for the Velcro. As you can see here, it's very tight against the skin. Makayla has very sensitive skin, so when we first started doing this, we would only try 10 to 20 minutes first to see how her skin would react. Because there is quite a bit of pressure against her skin, it could cause a pressure sore. So we started off with 20 minutes or so, and then now we've worked up to 12 hours a day. They recommend you wearing AFOs 24 hours a day. However, because Makayla lays down, during the night we take this one off, and then as soon as we get the other one, she would have the other one on during the night. So that way the one that is got an AFO on is always on a pillow, and her feet never really rub together, because this can be quite sore if it rubs against skin on the outside, because there are hardware pieces and stuff like that. So I hope I mentioned everything that I needed to mention. I haven't really done a lot of research on it myself. I just know what I know from the physiotherapists and the ortho tech that we deal with. We've been doing this for about, I want to say, 2 months now, because of, you know, after her casting and all that. So I know a little bit about it. I just wanted to tell you what we know about it. So I think that's all for today's video. If you learned something new, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, if you're new. And if you haven't hit that notification bell, please do so that you get my videos every time they come out. And we will talk to you next time. Say bye, beauty. Say bye. She's so beautiful.